Welcome back to the Silver Lining, where it's no filler, no fluff, but we keeps it a buck. And today I'm going to be talking about the Orlando Magic. I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on the offseason so far. I did a video before where I kind of put it in tier lists, where I took the roster and went in tier list and talked about who I thought was probably going to be gone and who I thought was going to be staying. So I'll go ahead and link that in case you want to check that out to see how right I was or how wrong I was, right? So let's get right into it. Obviously, the biggest signing is going to be the signing of KCP, Contavious Caldwell Pope, to a 3-year, $66 million contract. I think this was a home run. I thought this was a great signing. I think KCP gives us exactly what we need, a shot maker and experience. Because not only is he a shot maker, but he's made big shots in the NBA Finals. We're talking about an NBA champion here. So he's not going to shy away from, taking shots in the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs, because this is a guy that's made shots in the finals. So I think getting a guy like that, all while not losing our defensive identity, because KCP is also a good defender, I think it's a perfect signing. It's a great signing for us. I know that Paul George was a name that was out there, and I never thought he was really coming to Orlando, but just the idea that he considered us, to me, is just huge. I think that's big for us. It's showing that we're coming around. But ultimately, the contract that Paul George got, I don't think would have been a good move for the Magic, just because we got to sign our young guys coming up. Before you know it, Paolo's going to be due for his contract. Franz and Suggs are going to be due for their contracts. So we got to think long term. And I don't think we want to try to sign those three guys and have, $37 million of a 38-year-old Paul George on the books. So ultimately, I think it was fine for us not to sign him. And I think, like I said, KCP is a great signing. The thing that's interesting to me is that with KCP being there, he's going to be the starting shooting guard. We're now going to be moving Suggs to the point guard, right? Otherwise, Suggs will have to come off the bench. So the question is Jalen Suggs going to be able to be our number one point guard, our ball handler, our distributor? Can he do that? So far, I'm not sold that he will be able to. I just don't. I haven't seen it yet. I think he's a great combo guard, a guy that can handle the ball some, but asking him to be your primary ball handler, I'm not 100% sure. But we'll see. We'll see. Suggs made some great improvements last year shooting the ball, so who knows? We'll see. And this may also be a thing of our catchphrase that we've heard Jamal Mosley say a million times is by committee. So look, I think Paolo showed a lot of potential when he was in college of being a playmaker. So I think we haven't really been able to unlock that part of his game simply because we just don't have the floor spread enough. We don't have enough shooting. So could that be a thing? Maybe Suggs and Paolo will kind of handle the ball. I don't know. We'll see. I think we'll start it off definitely just having Suggs just be the point guard and let's just see what he can do. So that'll be interesting for sure. But overall, I love the KCP signing. It's perfect for us. A signing I wasn't that big on was the Jonathan Isaac extension. So yes, we've signed Jonathan Isaac back. We've extended him out to 5 years, $84 million contract. I don't know about this. Look, Jonathan Isaac had a good year last year for sure. You can definitely see the difference when he's on the floor. He's an impactful defensive player, one of the most impactful defensive players in the league without question. If he could just stay healthy, I think he would be a consideration for Defensive Player of the Year every single year. But that's the problem. He doesn't stay healthy. He's never stayed healthy. And I just don't know about extending him out like this when it's been pretty clear that he just can't stay healthy. I don't see any reason to believe he's going to start staying healthy now, I haven't had a chance to really dive into the contract, but from what I understand is that the contract is kind of top loaded. So the higher amounts are going to be in the beginning of the contract. And as the contract goes, it'll decrease. So that's good because it keeps us flexible salary cap wise and make sure we can sign back, the guys, Paulo and Franz. But I don't know, man. It's a gamble I really wanted to see what Jonathan Isaac could do for us in his contract year, just to see kind of like what he does then and kind of make the determination on if you want to extend him at that point. But I think the front office didn't even want to take that chance. They didn't want to take a chance of him becoming a free agent and someone, giving him a bag. And so they just went ahead and signed him now. I don't know, man. Like, again, he's a great defensive player, but the health is just in question. And now we got him for another 5 years. Like, I thought that this upcoming year was going to be the last year I had to – well, no, this past year, I'm sorry. This past year, I thought it was going to be the last year. I had to deal with Jonathan Isaac because this was the last year of his contract, But look, he had a good year. He had a really good year this year, man. So we'll see. We'll see. The health is just so much of a question mark. I just don't know. I don't know about that signing at all. Gary Harris is going to be coming back. 2-year deal, $15 million. I'm cool with it. I didn't expect it. I thought Gary Harris was going to be gone. But I'm cool with it. With KCP coming in, we can move Gary Harris off the bench, and I think that'll be good. I think that'll be solid. He's a solid, steady player, so I'm cool with it. $15 million, it's not a bad contract, so I'm good with that one. Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles is going to be moving on. He signed with Minnesota, $3.3 million. And I said that, if you remember on the other video, I said there was no way we were going to obviously, bring Joe Ingles back for $11 million. But once we declined that offer, I knew a team a little bit further ahead was going to send him a contract, and he was going to probably take it, So I kind of expected that. It's not a huge deal. I did like Joe Ingles is a fun guy to have. You could tell the players love playing with him. He's a funny guy. So it's not a huge loss for us, honestly. I think that it could be a little bit of addition by subtraction because we can move some of the younger guys into that spot. But yeah, Joe Ingles moving on. The one that really surprised me, though, was the Goga Batadze contract. I was stunned by that. The Magic signing back 3 years, $25 million. I thought Goga had shown more than enough that he is definitely a backup center in this league and possibly a starter depending on the team. I thought he definitely showed that last year. So I thought he was a goner for sure. I thought he was going to sign elsewhere because, you have an opportunity to play. On this team, he's going to be the third center on the depth chart. So I thought he was gone, but they signed him back. Yeah, I'm good with it because, Wendell is good for a mid-season injury all the time. So having Goga for insurance is great. I'm just surprised. I thought he would want to go somewhere else if he have more of a chance to play. But it's cool. It's cool. Goga definitely showed that he can do it. He definitely showed that he can play. So having 3 centers on a depth chart, though, I'm sure teams carry 3 centers, but I'm sure the third center is probably way down the bench and is probably not making much. Currently we're paying 3 centers, so makes you think there could be a trade because I did say before I thought Wendell Carter could be a guy that we could look to move, and I still think that. Even though I like Wendell Carter can spread the floor better than Goga can, so I like Wendell Carter. But I don't know. The idea of paying 3 centers like that just seems odd. But, again, Goga's contract's not a bad contract. So, I don't know. We'll see. Markelle Fultz, as of now, hasn't signed anywhere. He's still a free agent. I'm pretty sure he's gone, though. I don't see any reason to bring Markelle Fultz back. I think he still has value around the league. I still believe that. But the team has to just accept him for what he is. Markelle Fultz can bring you a lot of positives. One of those positives is not going to be shooting the basketball. He's not going to be a guy that can shoot threes. He's just not that guy. He's just not. It's not that jump shot that he had in college is never coming back. But look, I still think he can do some things for you. I still think he'd be a great fit in Phoenix. I think that'd be a good spot for him. But yeah, Markel's not coming back. Overall, I'm good with the offseason. Like, I'm good. I didn't mention the draft, but I'm good with the guy we drafted. I think that I never honestly seen him play, but looking at film on him, he looks pretty solid. Kind of the guy we need. He was a senior. He's an older player. So I think that could definitely help us. Looks like he can shoot, defend. Because the main thing here is that we're getting players on our team that can play both sides of the court. We want to be a solid defensive team, and we want to continue to add offense, but it can't be to the expense of our defense. So overall, I'm cool with the offseason. It's all right. It does kind of feel like we're just doubling down on the same roster because it's going to be the same roster with the additions of KCP and De Silva, the draft pick. So the question is that a great offseason? Because we kind of saw in the postseason that we just couldn't make shots. What I think is that this team is really focusing on internal development, and how these guys continue to grow is going to dictate a lot of where we go from there. I think that Suggs, for example, showed a lot of improvement last year shooting the three. He shot the three pretty well last year. He definitely looked a lot better than he did his first season for sure. So if Suggs can continue to do that and continue to get better, Franz had a so-so year shooting the ball. I think he'll bounce back. I believe in Franz. So I believe in Franz coming back and bouncing back. And then adding KCP, I mean, that's definitely – but two of those things comes down to internal development. We know what KCP can bring, but the other two is just our guys continuing to get better. So that's going to be the main thing. We've just got to get better with the guys that we have. Would I have personally liked to have seen us add more shooting? Yeah, I would have. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know exactly who we could have added. I mean, I don't think Klay Thompson was interested in coming here. I think Klay still wanted to go somewhere where he had a chance to win. I don't think he wanted to just go somewhere and get a bag. I think he wanted to still be in contention and winning. So I don't think Klay was ever a real possibility. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I still think we're going to be a solid team. I think we're going to be a solid team again next year. We're still going to be elite defense, and the hope is that guys can just improve internally in terms of, like, making shots. One thing is going to be also interesting is what's going to happen with the rookies. Well, they're not rookies no more. Second-year players of Anthony Black and Jett Howard. I think that it's possible that Anthony Black could possibly slide in and play a lot of those minutes that Joe Ingles got last year. I know he's a point guard, but he has good size. So he could slide into the three just so we have multiple ball handlers on the floor, right? It's a possibility. I mean, I don't see why not. Again, Anthony Black is another guy that's got to continue to improve in terms of shooting threes. He shot it way better than I expected. He was not a shooter at all in college, and I thought he shot it way above what I was expecting, honestly. And he actually shot it with confidence. Unlike Fultz, he didn't shy away from it. If he was open, he shot the ball. So, and then there's Jett Howard. Is Jett Howard even going to play? We drafted him last year. He didn't play. So, second year, is he going to play? Because we got another rookie coming in now who looks a little bit more pro-ready. So what happens there? So, look, there's definitely a lot of question marks with this team. There's definitely a lot of question marks of how this roster fits. I still think we're probably a trade away from really making some noise in the East, especially now that the East has a pretty solid top four. I mean, obviously injuries make a case. I mean, we finished above Philadelphia this year because Embiid got hurt. So if Embiid doesn't get hurt, we probably don't finish above him. So not counting injuries, because we can never really predict that. At this point, we have a very solid four in the Eastern Conference: Boston, Milwaukee, New York. They're going to be the teams that we're looking up at. So can we be the fifth seed? Possible. We'll see. Overall, like I said, I like the team. I like what we've done. Would I've liked to add more shooting? I would have, but it's all good. The boys in blue, coming back next year. We're going to lock you up. And that's all I got to say, man. Peace and love. Like and subscribe.